people were spending tons of money on like 3D TVs and stuff. And I was just like, give me a break. Remember ESPN did like a 3D channel at one point?
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like, okay, why would I want to see ESPN in 3D?
Oh, actually, I do remember that.
Why would I want to see ESPN in general?
Today, we talk about...
Wait, how can you tell? Oh, the thing over there.
Yeah, you remember when you had the headphones on?
Oh, because you have the headphones on. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, even without the headphones, I know this is where you got to talk. You cannot do this.
You know, funny, when I recorded music, it's always they told me this side, so you don't do the pop thing.
But this is what the pop filter is for.
When you're recording music, though,
this
you can
is
like
the pop
change
filter.
the angle to like.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
Don't they say like who was it? I think Frank Sinatra or something was saying like his instrument is the microphone because he would actually like play with it to like sing better with a microphone.
Yeah, stand-up comics feel the same way,
right?
Because like, you know, anytime you want to do a joke where like you use the microphone as a tool to either like talk away or fucking
probably more
As
integral to a singer, but
not necessarily. If anything, actually, I would argue it's more integral to a comic because they can use it for animation.
Did you say that mic doesn't work?
Yeah.
It works. I just don't know how to
integrate it with the system.
Yeah, integrate it with this shit.
It looks like, doesn't it have the same exact interface?
It does. But I plugged it in and it won't pick up the signal. Now, I can plug it into USB. That's the whole reason I bought that in the first place was, it has USB capabilities. Actually, these have USB capabilities too. But the whole thing was when what was this, like over a year ago when I was actually trying to start to use that as like a better mic, better audio. With the USB interface, it doesn't sync with the video. There's like a latency in the sound delay. So
what about quality?
The quality was amazing.
Same?
No, yeah, it's just
like
as good
USB
as this.
there's no loss and
I think analog is slightly better, but nothing that I would recognize being a...
Is it like well, you've recorded music, maybe you know better, but like some people say vinyl is like better, but other people are like, there's literally no way digital can't be better. Which one do you think is better quality audio?
Oh, that's tough.
I mean, to the average fan, it doesn't fucking matter.
Is it just subjective? Like, what do you...
Subjective, absolutely.
I'm sure subjective is a factor, but honestly, even if there was a difference, it's got to be so minuscule.
It must be, yeah. But I'm not a huge audiophile or like, you know, never made music or anything, but I think based on what I know about technology, I don't find it possible that you can't recreate the same thing digitally, if not better.
So I think there's a couple of things to that. So let me give you an example. When there's like a record scratch, right? If you have it happen organically on like a record player, that introduces a whole different dynamic than if you were to just like incorporate a sound bite, like, you know what I mean?
But you can, if you gave a computer an authentic record scratch and, you know, just had it learn how to do that, it'll start mimicking the exact same thing digitally.
Mimic it, yes, but timing, cadence, all that kind of shit, you have to factor that in too, you know?
Yeah, I don't know about that. What do you mean by cadence of a record scratch?
Well, not the record scratch itself, but like how it's incorporated into what you were trying to use it for. As a simple soundboard thing, yeah, whether you record it or you just send the electronic version, probably going to be very similar. But I'm saying like in the context of music, I mean, like a vinyl.
You can record scratch those electronic tables.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same, but I mean, sounds the same to an untrained ear.
A, to the untrained ear, yes. And B, I think just the cadence and the dynamic of the environment you're in when that record scratch happens organically versus recorded or preordained, it's going to be quite different.
I bet. I mean, I like analog stuff in general just because it's old school. And like, I get down with that shit. But as far as like quality or like how much, you know, like the
yield of how much
the actual data being the audio data that's being transmitted to your ear.
I mean, for someone like me, it's not worth the effort to get the extra quality.
Yeah. I would go so far as to say like the imperfections in some analog formats are kind of their charm.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, like some things are a little bit, especially digital, or like some things are a little bit too, they look fake because they're too perfect, right?
We get it. You don't like impractical jokers. Fuck, bro.
Those like first party things, like too perfect.
iPhone sucks.
You know what's funny about, I think I posted a picture on Facebook once. It was like a sunset or something. And you were like, "Oh, congrats on the iPhone." You left a comment. I find this hilarious because I saw the same thing to other people. Like someone else on Facebook or somewhere online, I forgot, posted a picture, and
definitely not Instagram.
Someone else wrote the same comment that you wrote to me, and it reminded me of it. But there's like this weird thing where people who have iPhones, if they see any picture that has like, you know the kind of pictures you see in like an iPhone commercial, it's always like contrasting colors, like red, it's like a red and blue or something. If they see any picture like that, they think, maybe because that's why they bought an iPhone, but like they see it and they're like, "Oh, did you take this with an iPhone?" And it's like, dude, any camera made in the past 12 years can take this exact same picture. But iPhone people think because it's used in iPhone commercials, they're like,
no, it's not iPhone commercials. I'll tell you what it is, man. I remember back when I
love that kind of photography.
It's not a kind of photography. It's a literal difference. I remember taking a photo with my old phone, the HTC, whatever, which I understand Android's come a long way since then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Android's come a long way. But I'm saying, at that time, those cameras were advertised as like, the pixels are greater, or the graphics are better, or the megabyte. What's the term? Megapixels much higher on this camera. The resolution is much higher on this Android camera than your iPhone.
Yeah.
Yet, anytime I took a photo and saw the same photo taken with like Ali's iPhone, totally different quality of look when I looked at the photo. I was like, what the fuck?
We're talking like 2008.
We're talking iPhone 4 versus HTC Evo. Yeah. 3D.
There's a name I haven't heard in a long time. The Evo HTC.
3D triggered.
Yeah.
Remember when that was a thing? 3D.
Yeah,
I was showing that shit off. I was like, ooh, look,
you had
3D.
one of those, and I was like, dude, this is a gimmick. It's going to be gone in 2 years. And you're like, this is the future. We are not going to be taking 3D pictures. I mean, 3D movies are dying out.
Dude, 3D movies
the gimmick is up.
Lasted less than the fucking phones.
Those movies give me a headache.
Yeah, like who actually, I mean, there's a very select few movies where it works for the vast majority.
And even then, it's like, is it worth it?
I saw Jurassic World in 3D and it wasn't.
It didn't add anything.
No. It gave me a headache, honestly.
You know, it's the only movie that I really...
Yeah, I know. It's because then it's like...
Yeah. The only movie I really, really appreciated 3D, Avatar.
I saw that one in 3D. I don't think they even had the option not to.
Yeah, because I watched it again without it, and I was just like, man, I don't feel like I'm in that universe the same way Avatar put me in that universe, you know?
Yeah, but you could tell some scene, you could tell they peppered in some scenes.
Oh, of course, like the...
Yeah, like some scenes were like, okay, get them into the... like drag them in. And those scenes become pointless without the 3D because it was put in just for the 3D.
But it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with some songs or like with sex scenes in HBO. It's like sometimes you just got to fucking do it. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're saying it draws some crowd.
It draws in that crowd that's like, yo, bro, there's like tits in this shit, man.
And it doesn't lose other people. Like other people aren't going to not watch it just because of this. Right. But some people will watch it because of this.
As long as you don't goblin it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with Sage. They do. That's the thing. Everyone like, especially with the 3D thing, they try to like shove it in everyone's face. Even people were spending tons of money on like 3D TVs and stuff. And I was just like, give me a break. Remember ESPN did like a 3D channel at one point? Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like, okay, why would I want to see ESPN in 3D?
Oh, actually, I do remember that.
Why would I want to see ESPN in general? Let's
let that one run.
I just don't like their like stupid hot takes, and I don't know, it just seems lame.
It's pretty lame.
I just had to say that.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you. The clip was funny.
Oh, I said that I saw him at the Super Bowl party.
So who?
She's trying to expose me.
Trying to expose him. It was a joke. People want to know him. I know he loves soccer and he plays soccer.
Yeah, which ESPN also doesn't really give a shit about soccer.
Oh, boy.
Oh, the fuzz is here.
Hold on to your butts.
The police.